Teal and pink? Okay. So today we're going to be making some wearable art, and I wanted to share with you how you could do a lot of DIY, which is very popular right now. How you could do some DIY projects using your screens, your masks. You don't have to be a professional artist or professional colorer or any of that to use the masks or the stencils or the stamps in the Bloom collection. I really wanted to create something that could be used in so many different ways, and I love when people come to me and show me projects that they create. They didn't add a stitch of color onto the girl herself. They used her as an element, like Cari did a few weeks back with her cards. Perfect example of using the stamps, creating something beautiful without sitting and coloring them in. So tonight is the same idea, but I wanted to take it to another level where you can make so many different pieces. This same technique could be used on clothing, it could be used on pillowcases, my canvas bags. So it's a lot of different ways that it creates something that's wearable and usable without spending a whole lot of money and making something unique. My daughter wore her shirt that I made last week, and she said everybody loved it. So it's cool to make them something too that is like one of a kind. The one I'm working on today is going to be my size shirt. So I guess I'm going to have to wear it. And we're going to have fun with it. So if we have enough time, I'll do a second project if time allows. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. There we go. Okay. This, hopefully the camera cooperates here, you know. All right. Also, I wanted to tell you guys, guess I was up at Prima today, and guess what is now in and shipping? Their chalkboard paints. And I have the whole collection. I grabbed a couple of the colors, and actually I think I'm going to try to use these. We'll experiment with them. It gives you another way to use these. I'm going to mix them with some silkscreen medium, and we'll see if they work. Okay? So let's go ahead. I'm going to use those two colors, I think, tonight. It's showing really blue in the video, but in all honesty, it's more like a, I don't even know how to explain it. Just a dark teal, like more of a teal color instead of this royal blue color. The color I'm using is jewel blue, so it's not really a cobalt color like it's showing. And then this color is sea breeze. So these are starting to ship now. These jars are a good sized jar too. I really like that they're not too big, but they're not too small where you could actually get a whole project done and still have plenty of paint left over. Also, those of you questioning, they were wondering where the Bloom sprays went. They improved the packaging on these, and as you could see, now when they are shipped with a lid, and then the sprayer is separate. So I wanted to show you guys that. And the lid inside also is sealed. So you won't have the possibility of them leaking in transit. So all of you stores and all of you customers who are wanting these, tell your stores to come and watch the video if they need to. But look it, they come nice and neat and clean, and you guys need to get these sprays. I'm going to be using them this weekend at Scrapbooking Forever. And I really like the Color Bloom sprays for the simple fact that there's so many different colors. You get a lot of product for your money. Like I've said before, I get almost 3 bottles worth of spray out of this one bottle, and the sprayer alone. I would buy the sprays just because of the sprayer. So these are also shipping out. They started shipping out today, I was told. So make sure that you let your stores know if you haven't already, or they haven't gotten their orders in already, that those are now available, okay? So today I'm going to use the Free Spirit, also known as Cari stencil. And we're going to make a fun little shirt. And also, I had mentioned in the description, you can use this on onesies for a baby if you want to make a really cute onesie for a baby shower. I know in my experience, I'm having tons of friends who have babies right now, And it would be fun, or even like a diaper bag, like my canvas bag. I actually gave a couple to, I had bought them and decorated them and made a couple for friends who were having babies, and they said that was like the best thing ever. So another idea for those bags, and our beautiful stencils. That's not the one I need. I need this one. Okay, so with this stencil, I've sprayed it already. It's still tacky on the back. I suggest finding, a spray adhesive. This one's Krylon. There's also other manufacturers who make a spray adhesive. Now, I suggest if you could find the repositionable, try to find that spray. If you can't, the all-purpose works as well. What you're going to do, I'm not going to spray it in the room because of how small my room is. I die of the fumes. Now, also make sure you please go and use this in a well-ventilated area, or please wear a dust mask, okay? All right. So what I do is I turn my mask over and I spray the entire mask. And a good idea is to save the packaging that it comes in, cut a piece of that packaging off, and put it onto the back whenever you're not using it. Kind of like the Cricut mats. You put the safety sheet back over the top, and you could do this in the same with it being sprayed with the adhesive. Now I kind of bent my mask. It's probably going to be wonky when I spread my gesso, but that's okay. When you spray the back, you can still use it on paper and everything else, and what it'll do is it'll help keep your mask in place so it's not lifting on you. That's another reason why I sprayed the back, is when I'm using on fabric, I don't want it to lift away while I'm working over the fabric surface, and then it messes up my design. Okay, so that's why I sprayed it. Now I have a piece of chipboard. I'm gonna just put that in between the layers. This is a big old shirt, you guys. Hey, caramba. So I'm just going to put this over, put it exactly where I want it to go, where my mask is going to go. Okay, I think I have it layered up pretty well. Can you guys see okay? Is it too dark? Let me see if I can add a little bit more light. The tan, I think, is what's throwing it off a bit. That's better. Thank you. This is my favorite mask, too. Everybody likes the Sharon mask. I think it's because more people see it. They've seen a lot more of the Sharon mask, and that's why it appeals to them. I'm going to move my chipboard down just a little bit. Okay. Alright, so what you're going to do, once you've got the back of your mask sprayed and it dries, you want it completely dry so that it's tacky but it's not wet. It's not going to stick to anything permanently. You're going to go ahead, center up or wherever you want to put your mask, go ahead and put that mask down and press down. Now I warped, don't ask me how, but I warped my mask a little bit. I'm going to have to grab another one. Dang it. I think I let it sit in the sink and it got hot and it kind of warped a little bit. Let me grab another one. Hurry. A nice clean one. Not for long. I'm going to have to spray it. My phone's going to die. Ooh. Thank you, Deb. Hi, Courtney. Also, Canada, my Canada peeps, I'm going to be up there next weekend doing some demos with the ink stamper, as well as teaching some classes at our store, or a class at our store. We have like a couple seats left, I think. So if you haven't already, make sure you go check out and see if she's got any still available. Okay, I'm spraying this. My floor is going to be sticky for a while. I'm just going to kind of wave this so it dries quicker. It doesn't take long. Okay. All right. Look, it's so nice and pretty. Not for long. Make sure you wash this really well, especially using the gesso, because she does have some fine details. You can't let the screen sit with any type of art medium on top of her because it's going to be really hard to get her cleaned off. So I have her nice and pressed down, and now that I have her secure, I can go in with my gesso, my black gesso. I'm going to use Anna's new heavy gesso in black gesso. With the gesso, I do suggest if you're going to have a lot of pull on your shirt, if you have any type of chest and it's going to pull at your shirt, I would suggest doing this project on a ribbed t-shirt or a ribbed tank top. That way the rib in the shirt can kind of give way, and your design will separate just a little bit, but it won't look wonky, if that's a word. I know it's probably not, but it won't look distorted. It'll just stretch with the shirt, okay? So that's just another little tip. Okay, so we have it down. I'm just making sure I've got a good secure hold on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit. If any of you have ever done silkscreen class, I know I did in high school. This is basic, same technique as what you did in silkscreen class. So I'm going to grab an old card. I hope this one's dead. If not, hubby's going to be mad. So I'm just going to dip that into the opening. I'm going to spread it down the side of my mask, like so. I'm not going to use some on it today. And then what I'm going to do is off the mask, off of the design, I'm just going to spread it right across the shirt. Okay. You just go all the way across. You don't need it really heavy. Actually, the cleaner the better, because that just means less mess to clean up later on. You just want to make sure none of the shirt design or the shirt is coming through the design. And then you could come and scrape off the excess. And because I sprayed it, I shouldn't have any of my material running underneath my mask. Okay, so with the mask on, okay, we're clean there. And you could do this as well, like if you have a black tank top or t-shirt, you can use white gesso or white. I would stick with white gesso. A heavy white gesso will work the same exact way on a dark shirt as well. So you'll have the opposite effect, which would look pretty cool if you ask me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and dry this just a tad bit, because oh yeah, I know by firsthand, gesso will not wash out of your clothing once it is dry. I have a t-shirt, and some of you have seen me wear it, where I splattered a bottle of gesso on it accidentally, and now it's the gesso shirt, and I just added more splotches to it. I'm going to secure a corner of my mask, or my shirt, and I'm just going to pull my mask up. It's harder on a bigger shirt, I will tell you that. You just want to make sure it doesn't fold on itself. Aha! Look at there! Look at how clean that is. Let me shift that up further. Look it, look it, look it, look it. Okay, let me put some spray on the top of this mask real quick so I don't ruin it, so it doesn't dry. I'm just using some Windex. I'm just spraying it over the top to keep it wet. And it'll also kind of dissolve some of my gesso while I wait. I don't want it to ruin it. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and hit this with the heat gun. You want to make sure it's completely dry. Alrighty. Make sure it's completely dry. Don't mess with, you'll have some fuzz sticking up because of the texture of the shirt. Don't mess with them because what you'll do is you'll smudge that. You could later on, once it's washed, those will wash away. I do suggest that you do this on a pre-washed shirt. So wash the shirt first, then do this. And when you are washing it for the first time, wash it inside out. Some of your paint may wash away, the acrylic paint, even though it is acrylic. It may wash away and you'll lose some of the vibrancy. But it'll still stick because what we're doing is we're binding the acrylic paint with the silkscreen medium, which what that'll do is, one, it'll bind it to the shirt, and two, it'll make it more flexible. What, buddy? Hi. You gonna be quiet? I have a visitor, you guys. He missed me. You can use this on jeans as well. Any type of fabric will work. Jeans don't stretch a lot, so it'll actually be good because once you get it onto the jeans, unless you're stretching them a lot, they'll still wash fine. And because, the gesso is permanent, you're not going to be losing any of the definition in her face and things like that. Like even, and I'll show you just a second. Hi, Jamie's kids. It's Q-Man.
Hi.
Yeah, do not use fabric softener with any art medium. I suggest if you're ever going to do any type of art medium on your fabric, don't use fabric softener because what that does, oh, I'm not dry yet. What that does is it creates a barrier on your clothing and makes it harder for the fabric to stick, or the materials to stick to the fabric. They said hi, Q.
Hi.
Okay. Make sure that it is dry. If it's not completely dry, what it'll do is when you add our other paints and mediums over the top, it will end up reactivating what's not dry on our gesso and kind of create a mess. Alrighty. And again, I'm using the Art Basics Heavy Gesso in black, Anna's new heavy gesso. I love this stuff, and some of you may know I use a lot of art mediums, and I've used every art medium on the planet basically, unless it is something I cannot get in the US. I have used it, and this is right up there with the high dollar stuff. So if you guys are wanting to get into mixed media or you're running low on something, I suggest replacing it with Anna's. Just saying. I'm in a little trap where what are you laughing at, goofball?
You.
Oh, thanks. All right, so now we have our girl down. I'm debating if I should I try out the chalkboard paint on this, or should I go with the acrylics? It would be a hit and miss. I wouldn't know if they worked or not. Yes, the art mediums are out now. The stencils have been out since July. If you if your local store doesn't have them, definitely ask them to order them. Please, please, please. Okay, I'll use the chalk. We'll try it out. And I'll wash it and let you guys know. But I'd still buy the chalk anyways because I like the flat surface. Even if I'm not using it as chalkboard paint, I like the matte finish chalkboard paint has. And I use it on a lot of different things. Like if I was going to cover it would look nice on a journal cover and stuff because it is flat. You don't have that glossy finish to it. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to blend some of your chalk paint or your acrylic paint, either one. Now I'm going to show you the acrylic paint I used on the original one. The acrylic paint I used were the Liquitex Basics paints. They have a nice flexibility to them already, so they made it very easy to use, even with just a little bit of the silkscreen medium. You could even use it, I would say, without the medium, and it would still stick to your shirt and give it that flexibility and movement that you would need in the fabric. So the colors I used on the last shirt, let me grab those colors for you real quick. Oy, oy, oy. Was in bright aqua green and in primary red. Is this primary red? Did I use that color? Let me check. I have a pink here and I can't remember which one it was. It was the primary red. The primary red is really pink. Let's see. Some want you to use, oops. Okay, I can use both. That's fine, you guys. What I'll do is I'll mix, I'm trying to think what colors I'd wear more. I'll mix these two together. Okay. Cari, can you ask Jamie if that would work with white gesso with ink or color added to it? Yes, as long as it's a permanent ink. As long as the ink is permanent, you can color the gesso, and the gesso should hold that color in it. So I would just test it out on, say, my suggestion would test it out on a piece of fabric and just toss it under the sink, hand wash it, and see what it does. See if any of the color comes out. Because that's not something I've tried. I would just test it out on even a dish towel. Just put some on a little dish towel or rag and hand wash it and see how it goes that way. Because this whole thing right here was kind of a hit and miss. I didn't know if it was going to work, so I tried it out, and it worked for me. So it's just not trial and error, but just experimenting. Do a little experimentation to see what works and what doesn't work. That's kind of the fun part of doing this type of stuff, is making up new ways to use the products you guys already have. Okay, I'm going to grab a palette to put our stuff on. Whoop. I use my old, let's see, which, I use my old packaging as my palettes. What? Yeah, you gotta sit down now. Sorry, I've been gone all day, and so he's kind of having withdrawals, I guess. So I'm using my old, I saved some of these. I'll save a good dozen or so. Put them in a little box container. And I use these for my palettes. So I have 2 palettes right here from just one package. I'm going to take my Liquitex first. And this color is Naples Yellow Hue. I'm going to take, it's a 1-to-1 mixture. So let's start out with this first. 1-to-1 just means equal parts paint, equal parts silkscreen medium or acrylic medium. I put that in the description. Either one will serve the same purpose, basically. And what that is creating a binding agent that will give it give the medium flexibility and allow it to adhere to the paint. Now, of course, you can also use fabric paints to do this as well. It was just that I wanted to do something where I already had my acrylic paints in my supplies. So I wanted to do something that I could also utilize those. Now you want to blend this in. It is a clear, this medium, the silkscreen medium, is a clear medium. And it is made to mix with your paints, your acrylics. Now the chalkboard paint is an acrylic paint. So in all you know, by all the rules, it should work. Okay, now I have my yellow mixed. Okay, and I'm just gonna grab a paintbrush. I just have this 1/2-inch crafter's brush. Well, let me fill this bottle up with a little bit of water real quick. Because make sure you have a water bottle with spray that you could spray, or a till with water and a brush, doesn't matter. The spray bottle is a little more handier when you're wanting to spread the paint out. Yes, the silkscreen medium is by Golden. It's a medium-sized jar. It's not one of their larger, but it's not one of their smaller ones. And it's silkscreen medium or acrylic medium. Both of those will work, okay? I'm not sure if Liquitex makes this or not, but I found this at Michael's. So if you have any major craft store near you, they should have it available in their fine arts department. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and paint some of this straight onto my t-shirt. And you don't want it too heavy. You just want a nice even coat to start with. I'm making it heavier towards her features. And then I'm blending it out as I go out further. Okay, so now that I have some of my paint on here, don't play with that, please. If you want to go on your tablet. Now that I have some of the paint on there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some water, wet that down just a little bit, and then I'm going to spread that out further. And again, add a little bit more water. Now the edges where I'm thinning it out really, where I'm spreading it really thinly, is probably where the most color loss will be. You'll still have that hue of color, it just may not be as strong. I'm going to add a little bit of water to my brush, mix it with some of my paint and silkscreen medium. I'm going to blend some of that out even further. And again, come in with my spray bottle. Okay. Now you could also do this with acrylic inks as well, as long as it's a permanent. As I said before, you could blend your acrylic inks with those.
Why are we putting paint on the shirt?
Why am I putting paint on my shirt? Because I want it like Carly's. Do you want to wear it? No. Why not?
Oh, Hulk. One on this shirt.
You want a Hulk one?
Yeah, on this one.
Oh.
One original.
Original.
Mm-hmm.
The original Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh my word, kid. Okay, so as you can see, I've spread that out and made it nice and soft, almost like a watercolor. A white shirt for this look would look better than my colored shirt would, but it's still, you're still going to see that nice contrast between the tan and the yellow. Okay, I'm going to push some of this yellow paint back. I pulled too much off right now, but that's okay. We'll use it a little bit later. Actually, let's go ahead and add that now. Over here, I want it more of a watercolor look, so I'm just going to spray this first, get it nice and wet. Almost sopping wet. You want saturation. I'm going to spray right along this edge so some of my yellow paint hopefully will kind of blend in. And then I'm going to add a little bit more down here. Clinton, can you go ask Carly to get, I need her shirt I made her. Can you go get it for me? Thanks. I'll show you hers up close as well, so you can see the difference. Now the chalkboard paint, because it is a matte finish, would work really well on our darker colors because it has more of the opaque finish than some of your other acrylic paints do. I hope you all don't mind that he's hanging out in here. Now I went over my black gesso over here. Probably wasn't set all the way, so it's kind of reactivated a bit. So just make sure that it's completely dry before you start. I would honestly let it sit for, say, an hour completely before you start working with it. But that's just my little tidbit there. Alright, so we have our yellow down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add some of our chalkboard paint. We're going to try that out. Thank you, kiddo.
You're welcome.
Okay. Oh, I love this color. It's so pretty. So pretty. Look at, oh, I wish you could see the true color of this right now. Let's see. Does the silk, oops, sorry you guys, hold on. Actually the silkscreen medium gives it a little more workability. It'll keep it pliable longer, so no, it doesn't dry quicker. What it'll do is actually make it to where you can mix with it longer, alright? Because what it does is it wants to, because silk screens are a screen, it's a thin silk fabric or synthetic silk, and you are pressing ink through that fabric, so it has to make it so that it's pliable and it'll blend through those screens, and that's why they made the medium, so that you could turn your acrylic paints into something that could be pressed through something just as fine as a fabric like silk or anything like that. So it's going to actually extend the length of time before your mediums do dry up. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a little bit of our acrylic or our chalkboard paint. I still have yellow in my paintbrush.
What?
What? Crazy.
Bummer.
What?
I said bummer.
Bummer.
Yep.
Okay.
With the bush and the purple shirt. Hi guys. They call me dumb. With the bush and the purple shirt.
That's not nice of them.
Yeah. My sister.
Yeah. Okay, you're just
Yeah,
going to blend this just like we did our yellow. Oop. And again, I probably added way too much medium to my little water palette or my paint palette, but that's okay. Alright, so let's close this before I spill it everywhere. And then again, I'm going to do the same thing. I just want to blend some color in here. And I'll take a picture of this shirt tomorrow so you could actually see it in the daylight. Don't know if I'll be wearing it, but I'll take a picture of it for you. Just taking my paintbrush right along the edge. Blend a little bit up into our other color. These blend really nice together. It's so pretty.
Why is so pretty, Mom?
Why? Because I want it to be. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. No.
Eh.
No.
Eh.
I'm adding just a little bit over here. Okay. Ooh. Put that paint aside just for a second, and then I want to take our spray again. We're gonna go out, spray that again. You could even take your finger, kind of blend that out a bit. Now, besides giving us a smooth surface, the reason why I put that piece of chipboard between the two layers is so because we do get it very wet. You don't want the other colors to blend onto the other side. You can see how my line is kind of, what's here, I'm going to lower that down just a little bit. Come on, people. There, goodness gracious. Now we have some light. So I'm just blending this in together to kind of blend our colors together a bit. Same with this. You could blend these out. Okay. Alright. And you can add more color, of course, down towards the bottom. Oh, I'm going to take some of that paint off. We're getting this really wet, so it is reactivating my gesso, so you got to be really careful. I'm going to cover part of this feather up in a minute with our layers. We're creating a three-dimensional piece. And then I'm going to blend some of the teal down a bit. So now that I have my paint down, I'm going to go ahead and dry it. You want to make sure it is dry before we go to the next step, because if you don't, what can happen is our paints on the next layer can bleed with the paints you already have on the shirt. Do you have any questions while I'm drying? Well, I used to paint sweatshirts all the time until I got bored with it and you could buy fabric paint. Do you find that the chalkboard paint is not blending out as well? Actually, to be honest with you, the chalkboard paint was blending better than my acrylic paint was. So I think it's because it's a thinner, the chalkboard paint is a little bit thinner, medium. It's not as heavy based as the Liquitex. It blended out a little bit better. In my opinion, it was actually working better. No. Go out there with that. Yes, it was spreading out better than the regular acrylic. The Basics is a medium, what you would call a medium body paint, which in acrylic paints you have 3 to 4 stages of acrylic paints. You have a fluid acrylic, you have the medium body, and then you have a heavy body. And I would call the chalkboard paint between a fluid and a medium body. Because of the opaque finish to it, it gives it a little bit heavier base than what your regular fluid acrylic would be. This is your fluid. This would be your fluid acrylic. You'd have also your ink acrylic paint, your acrylic inks. Then you would have the fluid acrylic. You would have your medium body, and then you would have your heavy body, which is the really expensive stuff that you would buy at the craft store. So there are different bases of paints to work with. I did still use the 1-to-1 ratio on the acrylics or on the chalkboard. If it's not exactly 1-to-1, it's not going to make it too big of a deal. You just want to get as close to one to one as possible. Okay, I think we're dry enough. I'd be sitting here all day trying to get this completely dry. Okay. All right, so now that we have that down, I'm going to go ahead and add another layer of paint with my stencil. Now let me show you the one I made for Carly, and that's the sample piece that's on the Facebook group. Now these, this is on a white t-shirt. Now you could see the difference on what the blending would look like on a white shirt compared to my colored shirt. My colored shirt's not showing the blended watercolor look like the white shirt does. So you are going to get different outcomes depending on what colored shirt you use, just so you're aware of that. Yes, you can put this into the dryer. I would just suggest putting it inside out. Putting it inside out and putting it on tumble. I wouldn't throw it in with the rest of the stuff. I would tumble dry, put it in with your towels or something. That way it's not getting beat up quite as much. You can paint the background first if you want, and then put your stencil on top, of course. You could do it that direction as well. I just wanted to keep most of my color. The reason why I did it this way is I wanted to keep most of the color in the background so that she kind of stood out more. That's just the reason why I did it in that sequence of steps. So I'm going to use my stencil. This paint, I used a gold acrylic paint for my stencil piece. I didn't use the binding agent on this. It will crack, which I'm fine with. It kind of gives it a cool design once it does pull with the shirt. I'll just kind of see if I can show you. You can see how it's pulled with the ribs of the shirt. Kind of gives it a more three-dimensional look. So I'm just going to take, again, my basic gold paint. Let me grab it. And this one is actually by Golden. Let's see, this one right here, I think it is. What is this one? And again, I would suggest spraying the back of your stencil. This one's not sprayed. I'm just going to use it as it is. I'm using Golden Fluid Acrylic. This is one of the looser bodied acrylics. And actually, I will blend it or mix it with our silkscreen medium just to kind of thicken it up a little bit because it is so fluid. And it's in iridescent bronze. Show you that. Now the metallic in the paint, you might lose a little bit of the metallic in it once you've washed it a couple times. It may dull slightly, just to forewarn you. But again, that's why I suggest, just like any other shirt you buy at like the department store that has any type of metallic or lame, gold lame or glitter or anything like that, they always suggest that you turn your garment inside out. Same thing here. You want to protect the designs that you have on your your shirt as long as possible. So I'm going to go ahead, grab my other little painter's palette. I'm going to blend it in here. I don't need a lot of it because I'm just spreading a little bit. Just a little. Okay. Oh, don't leave it up. Okay, let's add a little bit of this. I don't need a whole lot. I'm just going to blend that together. Oh, I didn't think that through very well. I put it inside a little well, and I have no way of getting it out with the palette knife. Okay, I'm going to put it up here. Trying to keep my workspace clean. I worked all 3-day weekend to get it clean. It's got to stay that way at least for a week. Okay, let's take this little dude. I'm going to pull some of my medium. And then I'm just going to go ahead and stencil right over the top like you would any other projects. Again, you don't need it super heavy. I'm just adding bits here and there. Move it over on this side. Add a little bit of the same design to carry over our pattern and our design of the shirt. Add a little bit. It needs to be a little heavier. Okay. A little bit more. Maybe I'll wear this weekend at my classes. Okay. So you pull that up and you add just a little pop of dimension to the shirt. Added just a little extra something to make it more than just a stencil piece, just by adding that gold on there. Okay. Now that we have this down, I'm going to go ahead and set her aside, and we're going to stencil these two feathers onto a different piece of fabric. Let's put her aside real quick. Let me grab a piece of fabric. I need you to move scoochy scooch. Thank you. Oh. I have just regular muslin right here. I'm going to cut a couple pieces, just a little piece off. Just enough for me to stencil onto. Doesn't have to be really heavy fabric because you're using the gesso, and the gesso is such a thick medium. We'll use my dirty stencil from earlier. And you could add more feathers to the piece if you wanted to. Let's see. I want to put something underneath this because it's really thin and I don't want it to bleed on my mat. Let's grab a piece of paper. Put that underneath. And again, I'm just going to add some gesso. You can also do these in color if you wanted to as well. And actually, I think you know what, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do them in the teal. I'm going to make them all fancy. Let's clean one of my little palettes knives off. Remember to take pick before you start. With the adhesive, I would say if you keep the cellophane packaging that your stencil comes in, this is what I was talking about. Not this, but let me show you. If you keep a piece of the cellophane that it comes in, cut a piece that matches or even a little bit bigger than your stencil, put it on the back once you're done using it on a project. That stickiness will stay, I'd say, at least 4 or 5 projects worth, if not longer, as long as you keep it clean. I washed my stencil and it still had that tackiness to it even after washing it, because this is a permanent spray. It's a multi-purpose permanent spray. This is gonna hold it's gonna hold its adhesive a lot longer. Okay, so I'm gonna take my teal, since I have a bunch of it, the chalkboard paint, and I'm just gonna go right over the top of our stencil. Now the good part is you can go over the lines you're not going to be using because you're cutting these out anyways. Ooh, that's so pretty. You could add more if you wanted to, more feathers. I'm just going to do these two for now because we're short on time. We have only about 10 minutes. If I make any more shirts, I'll definitely post them in the group so you can see the different ones. Let's go ahead. I'm going to wipe a little bit of the excess paint off of here just so I could get it dried and going. Ooh, so pretty. And that one goes in the pile. We're going to heat set this. Can you hand me my heat gun? Helper? Oh, you got it stuck around your chair. Alright. So we're just going to dry this so that way you're able to handle it and cut it out. Okay. Da, 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 da. Who hates watching paint dry? I know I do. Yeah, it was in the 90s here today too. It's really hot. Yeah, here's the can. If you guys want to look at it, it's Krylon spray adhesive, multi-purpose. That's what I'm using for the adhesive spray. If you guys did have one of those slice machines and you by chance still have the can of spray like I do, that I found in my drawer of junk, this will work as well. The slice repositionable spray adhesive will work also. So just kind of, I think Cricut makes one too to reapply on their mats. I'm not sure. But you could use any type of spray adhesive. Okay, these are dry. Let me hit the back real quick just to make sure the paint's not going to come through the back. Da, da, da. Oh, and ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out the next live with Prima. Frank's going to be on. He's going to be creating another album. He always comes up with some really beautiful cover designs and neat ways to put his albums together. So make sure that you check his show out as well. No, as long as, I was just asked if the adhesive will leave a residue. As long as the adhesive is tacky, to that tacky point before you put it on your fabric, it will not leave a residue. Once it is dry or somewhat, it is, once it's dried to your screen, it won't leave any type of residue on whatever you're putting it on. So you could put it on a card or a piece of paper or a canvas and it won't leave that sticky residue behind. Good question. Yeah, Tuesday's Frank at 11 a.m. Pacific time. He's going to be doing a show, of course, from Prima, and he'll be making a really nice album. Also, if you guys have not already signed up, you need to, just saying, for Art Venture California. We're going to be doing some fun projects. I will tell you, as of now, we will be making a bag, but I'm going to show you some really fun techniques to create with. We're going to be using some of the brand new products coming out from CHA. You're going to be, I guarantee, the first of the public to get to use some of these products. So you definitely don't want to miss out. We have an awesome group of educators coming and teaching for you all. If you've been before, you know that the class kits are amazing. The goodie bags themselves are just so fun. And it's just a really good time. And I really think this year is just going to be bigger and better than last year. We're just going to have just a nice creative couple of days right before CHA. It's in the heart of Anaheim, so even if you come just for the art venture, you're not going to CHA, you could go to Disneyland, you can go to the beach within half hour. It's just a really nice time, and it's a really great location. The sign-ups, you could sign up on Prima's Facebook page if you go to events, I believe. I believe there might even be a sign-up tab at the top of the page. You can also contact Denny at Prima Marketing. He will also get you going as well. Okay.
What is this?
So I'm just cutting this feather out. Now you may have a little bit of fabric fray on you with, depending on how thin the fabric is, but as soon as it reaches your gesso or your paint, it's going to stop. So we have one little feather here. Let me cut that other one out. Okay. Yeah, we have a huge collection of Prima educators. If you didn't see the reveal, I believe it was last week or the week before, I have a bunch of new educators. I know we have so many awesome product designers teaching as well, myself included. So we have a lot of access. You can have a lot of access to Prima education and Prima classes. Definitely tell your local stores. I'm going to a local class this weekend, and then next weekend headed to Canada. And then I think I'm going to need a break. I honestly don't think I'm still back on my normal schedule from Australia. That's my excuse. That's why I'm up till 3 a.m. And anybody who knows me knows that's BS. Okay, so we have our 2 feathers cut out. And now we can go ahead and adhere them to our shirt. So beautiful. Oh my gosh, can't believe it. Right there. And right here. I'm going to grab a little bit of my fabric tack. Actually, you know what? I'm going to turn this upside down for you ladies. I could do this upside down. Why have I not done this from the beginning? I so apologize. I don't know why my light's being such a pooey. Okay. So I'm just adding a bead of adhesive towards the middle, where the vein of the leaf or the vein of the feather would be, and right at the top, the base of the feather. Okay, and I'm just going to overlay that on top of our original. And that can curve, it'll give it a little bit, so it'll curve and kind of move. And then again on this one, whoop, my gold paint's still wet, so I gotta be careful. Just follow the vein of the feather, like so. Come on. Okay. Overlay that just like that. I brought it up too high. And then it just adds a little bit of dimension. And what I did on the original one, and I'll show you, I need to tighten these, but what I did was I used a bead. Let me put this over the top. I used a couple beads. Let me actually fix these while I have it here. Pull these a little bit tighter. I put beads at the base of the feathers because on the actual stencil, there's beads at each base, kind of like a headdress, an Indian Native American headdress. So you could add that as well. And I'm going to add just a pop of color now to our flowers that are up in her hair to kind of help them stand out as well. Let's go ahead and use the yellow, since we have already used the teal on the feathers. Good. Where is the other store you're teaching at, Cari? Cari's teaching up there too. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water to my paint, and I'm just going to go and brush in some of that color. You don't need a whole lot. I just want these flowers to kind of pop. Something just fun, unique. It's another thing. I have a hard time buying clothes because I get so tired of seeing everyone wear the same thing, especially in school, in high school. I know that kids just get tired of the same old, same old. It's not, and I mean, it is in a way like it was when I was in school, like you had to have this brand and that brand. But I don't see it like that as much as it used to be. So I added just a little bit of color to her feathers. Now, another thing I want to show you, which I finally got my hands on today for the first time in an actual full kit, is my flowers. And where did they go? Dagnabbit. My metal flowers. Here they are. So if you haven't seen these are also in the Bloom collection this time around. And they're really bright in the camera, but these, I love this set. There's 17 pieces total. If you're a card maker, if you like doing the really small style scrapbook pages like Louise Nelson does, these are so awesome. You could even put a few of these, like the plastic ones, you could sew these right onto your shirt, or even glue them if you don't want to sew, or if you don't like to sew. You could adhere these straight to our shirt as well. So that's another way you can embellish. There's plastic pieces in here. There's this fun beaded one. This is so cute. Nice little beaded piece. There's these little yellow flowers. I wanted something that ranged from small to large. So there's a nice variety. They're already colored for you. You could also still color over the top of these with your alcohol inks, your Copics, even your acrylic paints. So there's a lot of different designs in here. There's a couple of the yellow off the like buttercup color. These little blue guys, I love these little blues. So these are really fun if you're cards or stamping, even in your art journal. I wanted something that was just already colored and ready to go that you could put on your projects and add just a nice little accent piece. Okay, so that is how I went about creating our lovely shirt. Are these metal or plastic? The flowers they're a mix. These flats are metal. These are all enameled metal flowers. And then these guys, this is metal. These guys are plastic. So there's a blend of pieces in here. Okay. Yeah, Fabric Tack by Beacon works awesome with any type of embellishment. That's what I used. This is what I used on my shirt. Helmar 450 or 350. I know some of you, the Australia girls, can't get this stuff. Helmar's 450, I believe it is. It will also work the same way, basically. What it does is, the reason why this works so well on multiple surfaces is because it has a flexibility to it. So it won't turn brittle and fall apart later on. I know some of you don't like the way it bubbles out and stuff, but it's so worth the mess in my opinion. I use this on everything. So it is, you can use it on fabric, wood, metal, plastic, anything you want to use on, you can use Fabric Tack. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you. And this is a project, and the reason why I did it on one of my shirts is I wanted to show you, this isn't just a kid's project. You could totally, with the way shirts and clothing are today, it doesn't matter what age you are, you could totally still wear this. Change the colors, this color scheme a little bit. I'm not, I can be real pink, which is funny because my collection is pink and teal, but a lot of you, if you see me, I'm majority black and white, what I wear. But I wanted something that's a little more muted. It wasn't so flashy, but it's still pretty. And you could wear this with a tank top underneath it. You could do the bottom of a pair of stretch pants. You can make it for a baby. You could put on a square canvas pillow if you wanted to. Do the same techniques on a canvas pillow or a bag. Use the same techniques and use it that way as well. If you don't want to wear it around, you could still do the techniques on other fabrics and make something out of it that way. What?
You go to the bathroom.
Then go. You guys can use whatever adhesive you have. I just suggest one of those two, the Beacon. That's just the one I prefer. I've used Helmar as well. Either one will work. Okay. Nancy, the stencils, try your, yes, Quick Grip also. Quick Grip is also by Beacon. It has a little stronger hold. If you can get Quick Grip, that one is great. If you're using it on fabric, though, I would stick with the Fabric Tack. Quick Grip by Beacon is also amazing. All right. Let's see. The stencils, ask your local store. If not, I know Blue Moon had them. And scrapbook.com, I believe, yeah, they had them. So if you don't have a local store, there are plenty of online shops that do have them available. So check those out too. There's plenty of places, even if you have a local store and they don't have it, ask them to bring it into the store. And if they want different ways to sell the stamps and stencils, you could always refer them to me. You can refer them to Cari or our Ustream and YouTube videos. Definitely, we want you guys to use those resources if you own a store and you're able to use those freely to promote the products you have in your store. Okay. I love Beacon and I will not divorce him. Oh yeah. The ink stamper in Canada may have them on her site. Yes. I will be at the ink stamper next weekend. We're going to have a good time. On Sunday, I'm teaching the Bloom Girls class up there. We're going to be using, if you guys are in that area and you're going to the expo, come see me because I'm going to be demoing for 2 days there. We're going to be actually demoing the stamps and the stencils and all the new art mediums. So you'll be able to see everything in action. You'll be able to ask questions, and if you have any ideas and you want to know if they'll work or not work, it's going to be a really fun time. And also make sure to keep your eye out on the Prima blog next week because we're going to have a little Bloomerific contest going on, and you're not going to want to miss that. So I'm just kind of giving you all a heads up for that one as well. All right. What does anybody remember the brand of those metal? Those are my brand. They're from the Bloom collection. They're from the Bloom collection. And there's 17 pieces in the package. All right. All of these come in that one package. And this is the first time since July that I've actually gotten to have my hands on a whole package of these things. I'm so excited. We're going to be using them in my class tomorrow night or Saturday. Okay. Now, some of you may not have seen all 3 masks. This might be your first time seeing them. Let me show you all 3 of them. Do we have time, Cari? I know I'm about 10 minutes over right now. Okay. These are all 3 of them. You can see on the back. It's hard to see the actual stencil, so I'll show you the packaging. These are the 3 stencils we have. We have the Gardenia, which is this beautiful girl with the 3 flowers. We have the Free Spirit, and we have the Sharon stencil. So there are 3 stencils. They're 12 by 12. You can use them on a lot of different surfaces. If you're an art journaler, you can even use these. Like if you're wanting to do the faces that everybody's doing, you could just trace the face and create off of that. So there's a lot of possibilities with these. Alrighty, I don't think I have stamps. They're all boxed up right now for this weekend, or I would show you those as well. Also, another reminder, don't forget to ask your store about the color bloom sprays now that they're being reintroduced with all the new packaging. Make sure that you go and get these. I've used sprays from Tattered Angels to, I mean, you name it, and I've tried it, and I really, really like the color bloom sprays. And you guys know that I'm not going to just tell you something. I stand by what I say. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Again, don't forget, Frank's on next Tuesday. Also, make sure to look up the art venture. We're going to have a really good time. I always like to have some fun new ideas that I haven't taught before at art ventures. So I'm going to have a couple techniques I haven't done yet, and I try to save those for you guys. Alrighty. Getting more of your products there. Where is your Wheeler? Where's your store? What store? Where are you located at? Who's here?
Miss Debbie.
Oh, Miss Debbie's here. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, you guys. It's such a joy to come, and I know I missed all of you last month with Australia and everything going on. It was just so overwhelming, and Cari thankfully let me skim by without doing the class. So it was unfortunately a break I needed, and I'm just glad to be back. Say hi, Q-Man.
Hi.
No, that. I'll stop recording.